Texas has proven us right, taking down Texas A&M 27-17. We were on this one again. So this is another good upset to look back on as we kind of preview the 2025 season and games that we may have gotten a little bit of head start on as opposed to the media and the general public. I think we felt like Texas was probably going to take this one outright, and they were able to do that. I didn't see them winning the way that they did. I figured that Marcel Reed was probably going to have a pretty tough game for them to lose this. He didn't play well. Thought he was going to exit the game with an ankle injury early. Comes back in, doesn't throw any touchdowns, throws two picks. Not his best outing. Probably is one of his worst outings of the season. It maybe other than Auburn. That one was tough. Trey Wisner goes for 174 total yards, and Texas as a team rushes for 218. I haven't seen Texas run the ball like this all season against a conference team. So this, I mean, if Texas were to make the playoffs, this would give me a different feel for the team. Unfortunately, I think this team's pretty much out of the mix for the playoff with the new rankings that we just looked at. But when they can run the ball, they're a different football team.
Yeah, I mean, I was very impressed with how they ran the ball. I mean, that's been something that they haven't been able to do all year. But it also raises questions about A&M's run defense, which has been suspect in multiple games this year.
Yeah, we've talked about this several times. I noticed it first early in the season against UTSA and Utah State. This team was giving up big yards on the ground. But as they got into conference play, they started to win, and I think that kind of got swept under the rug. But you look at the game against Arkansas, Mike Washington and Taylor Green had career games. They played really well. A&M gave up some decent rushing yards to Missouri. Even though they won that game in a blowout, they still gave up yards on the ground. There's been a lot of constant trends with this football team giving up yards on the ground. South Carolina, I don't think they really moved it much on the ground. They actually threw it all over A&M early in the first half of that game. But they had several games this season where rushing defense was definitely not a strength. I think that if a rematch were to happen with them playing against Notre Dame again, that's the biggest matchup I'm looking for is how well Notre Dame is going to be able to run the ball against A&M in a rematch. They've got Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love playing some of the best football in the country with that dual running back system. That's hard to stop. A&M hasn't really stopped many people this season running the ball. It's just only come back to bite them in the Texas game.
Yeah, more about if that game were to happen. How would that look with the improvement Notre Dame's defense has had throughout the year? Because at that point in the season, their defense was playing very poorly, but they've improved a lot. So
The secondary's tightened up for this team. I think it matters a lot. I think this line would be very close, even though it would be in College Station theoretically with how the playoff selection committee has it. I think that Notre Dame might be close to being a favorite in that one. I might lean Notre Dame in that. In a big game when it matters the most, I don't know that I'm taking A&M. Notre Dame's been there before. They were
Notre
there
Dame was
last
there,
year.
yeah, last
They
year.
were at the national championship last year. It's hard to even believe it that that team made it that far. But I just don't like A&M in the spot that they're in right now. They're not peaking at all. I mean, if anything, they peaked early in the season. They're starting to fall down at the wrong time. So they may not have gone 8-4 again this year, but they're starting to kind of show the similarities of recent A&M teams where when it really matters, they kind of start to crumble. So that weak SEC conference slate that they had is starting to show a little bit, which is crazy to even say as far as them being an SEC team. I don't feel like they had a really tough schedule. But I mean, the 35-yard touchdown run from Arch Manning to ice this game was, I think, probably the play that stood out to me the most. Arch didn't play a crazy good game here. He actually started off really slow. I didn't think he made many throws early in this game, but when it really mattered, he came up with some big plays and he put his head down and he was able to find a big run here with a team that put together a pretty solid rushing output for this one. That's what won it for this team. At the end of the day, running the ball won the game for Texas. If they hadn't been able to run the ball, I think A&M would have found a way to win this. But they were able to exploit a weakness on this A&M team and brought it home. 10-point win in Austin. At least gave them a chance to be recognized for the playoff. Finished the season on a good note. I had Texas going 9-3, so definitely a good hit for me. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit with some of our hits and misses from the preseason. Now that we've finished the regular season, but that was one of mine. I don't know exactly which games I had picked for that one. It'll be interesting to look back on. But big win for Texas. A&M's going to have to tighten up for the playoffs.
A&M remains little brother to Texas still.
Yeah, Texas owns them, like we said. So we'll see if that holds true for next year.